All right, time for another video. So today's topic, marijuana and bodybuilding. So it's something I wanted to touch on just because marijuana and bodybuilding is almost like a cultural thing now in the fitness industry. Especially now where it's completely legal in Canada and it's legalized in a lot of the states. So people are talking about it a lot more openly. Not only how it's like a recreational drug for like fitness people can use, but also how it can be used as a tool. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on it. So I think the first introduction to like marijuana with bodybuilding was of course in Pumping Iron. You have that classic scene where Arnold's passing around a joint with his buddies. And it seemed like that was the first time people were like, oh, Arnold's smoking weed, so it must be cool. He has one of the best physiques in the world, so there can't be anything wrong with it, right? So yeah, it can definitely be used as a tool, but just like anything, there's pros and cons to it. So I just want to give my opinion on what the pros and the cons are. So we'll start with the number one pro, in my opinion, and I can speak on my own experience with this, is how it induces appetite. So we all know what it's like being in the off season when you're trying to gain muscle, eating tons and tons of food. Food can actually get like repulsive. Well, I know it can for me. But marijuana is something that can definitely help with that. Like you smoke weed or use edibles, whatever, however you get THC in your body, and it spikes your appetite like crazy, gives you the munchies. So it can be a big help when you're trying to put down lots of food. It can make getting those meals in a lot easier. So I would say number two would be sleep. So same thing, whether you're in the off season and like you got a lot of extra weight on, it can be really hard falling asleep. But I would say this more so goes for people in contest prep. You know, we all know like in the last 4 or 5 weeks of prep, it gets, when your body fat gets really low, it can be really hard to sleep. Especially when you're using other drugs to kind of help you along with the fat loss process. You know, you deal with things like night sweats and just insomnia in general. Marijuana is something that can really help you not only get to sleep, but stay asleep. Because we all know like the water intake super high in preps, or you're using the bathroom like 5 times a night. So you might fall asleep fine, but then once you get up once, like you're up for the whole night tossing and turning. There's nothing worse than that in prep. So marijuana can definitely help with that. Help you get to sleep and actually stay asleep. Another pro I would say would be it can definitely help with anxiety, depending on how it's used. I would say if you want to try to use it to help with anxiety, edibles are probably the way to go. I find, just from my own personal experience, smoking it can actually like kind of induce anxiety and paranoia. So it might not be the best way to go about it, but I find the high I guess you get from edibles just is a lot more relaxing, and it's more like a body high. So that would probably be the way you want to go for that. Other than that, training. This is not what I do, but just from talking to other bodybuilders and some friends I have, people actually use marijuana before they train. And according to them, it can really help with just overall focus and mind-muscle connection is what I hear the most. But I had one friend that kind of had an interesting way to go about it. So he had trouble with having intensity in his workouts and like really pushing himself. So he would smoke weed before the gym, and it would give him anxiety that he wasn't working hard enough. So he would normally quit on like say like 8 to 10 reps when he knew he had more in him. But the paranoia and anxiety of the weed made him push himself. It made him work harder. He never thought he was working hard enough if he was high. So that's kind of funny. So that's pretty much the pros, I would say, to smoking marijuana. I'm sure there's other ones. That's just what I think. Now moving on to the cons. So the first one is obvious. Smoking anything, and like I said, there's lots of options here to get THC in your body, but the smoking is obviously not the best health-wise. I'm not going to sit here and say marijuana smoke is as bad as like cigarette smoke, but putting any smoke in your lungs is not really going to be healthy. And especially if you're doing lots of cardio and stuff, it's probably not really going to help with that, like the breathing and everything. So that's one thing obviously to take note of. We can go back to the appetite thing too. So in prep, I really try to stay away from using marijuana, like only before bed. So I find for me personally, if I use it during the day when I'm already starving and craving all kinds of crappy food, it just makes it a lot worse, and it makes it more of a struggle to kind of stay away from those, like not fall into those cravings and not overeat and things like that. As the munchies are a real thing, as we all know. Another con of using it would probably be I gotta check now. I got these written down. I just don't want to miss any. Oh yeah, so this is a big one. So for you natural athletes out there, so yeah, using marijuana in like the long term, like every day, say, can definitely lower your natural testosterone levels. So yeah, it can hinder muscle gains for sure. Like your testosterone is your muscle. So if you have low test, it's gonna be real hard. You're gonna have a really hard time like putting on muscle and really just having like intensity in your workouts and things like that. So it can have a direct impact on your physique in that way. But obviously, if you're enhanced, you don't got to worry about it. If you're injecting testosterone, your testosterone is going to go up, and it's going to stay elevated if you're supplementing with it, right? Maybe smoking weed will lower it a little bit, but like nothing significant. Obviously, your levels are going to be really high if you're actually using testosterone, right? Anxiety is definitely another one. Again, I think smoking is probably worse for anxiety than using edibles or something like that. So if you're someone that deals with anxiety, it might not be a good thing for you to use as a tool in any way, because that just really sucks in general. And also I would say, if you're someone who struggles with like motivation to get into the gym, yeah, it might not be for you either. Like I know for me, like I said, I would never use it before the gym. It just makes me a couch potato. But you know, for someone else it might be different. You know, you could use it. It could hype you up to go to the gym. I don't know, but if you're someone like me and sometimes you struggle with motivation, yeah, it might not be the way to go, because it might just make you want to sit around and do nothing. I've always kind of said that about marijuana. It makes you okay with doing nothing. So if you're prone to being like a lazy person, it's not going to help you with your goal. So it might not be the tool for you to use. One more check on my points, make sure I hit all of them. Yeah, I think we covered it all there. Yeah, so that's the video. That's marijuana and bodybuilding and my thoughts on it. Sorry I had to look at my phone a couple of times there. I just didn't want to miss any points. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And Big Mo is out.